Hello again. We are going to move on in our discussion of trigonometry. We are going to talk about something called the cosine rule. So this is lesson 9.6 and let's get started. Let's say we have a triangle and I only know the lengths of the three sides. Or I only know the lengths of two sides and the included angle, and I want to find other things. Then what I'm going to have to use is the cosine rule. So let's talk about how we would do that. There's three versions of this rule. First of all, I need to understand that my triangle is labeled with sides little a, little b, and little c, and angles capital A, capital B, and capital C, so that side A is opposite angle A, side B is opposite angle B, and side C is opposite angle C. And if all of that is true, and notice how it doesn't have to be a right triangle, if all of that is true, then c squared equals a squared plus b squared minus 2 times a times b times the cosine of angle C. I can rearrange that and talk about side B instead. Side B squared would equal a squared plus c squared minus 2 times a times c times the cosine of angle B. And lastly, a squared would equal b squared plus c squared minus 2 times b times c times the cosine of angle A. All right, now the way to help you remember this is no matter which version you're talking about, the first letter and the last letter are exactly the same and they don't appear anywhere else in the formula. So figure out which version you want to use, and that's how you remember where all the A's, B's, and C's go. Okay, so here's an example. I have a triangle here, and side A measures 7, side B measures 10, and angle C measures 48. Okay, so let's say I wanted to figure out side C. Then what I would do, since I'm given angle C, then I'm going to use the version of the cosine rule that has angle C in it. Okay, so that's going to be c squared equals a squared plus b squared minus 2 times a times b times the cosine of c, and I plug in what I know. So c squared will equal 7 squared plus 10 squared minus 2 times 7 times 10 times the cosine of 48 degrees. And that all on the right hand side equals 55.322. So if I square root that, I'm going to get that c is 7.44. All right, that's the length of side C. And from there I can find out other sides and angles, but we'll talk about how to do that in a future lesson. Here's another example. Here's where I have all three sides but none of the angles. And I'm asked to figure out angle A. So since I'm finding angle A, then I need to use the version of the cosine rule that has angle A in it. Namely, a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2 times b times c times the cosine of angle A. So 9 squared would equal 13 squared plus 11 squared minus 2 times 13 times 11 times the cosine of angle A. Okay, and if I square all of those and do my multiplication, I get that 81 equals 169 plus 121 minus 286 times the cosine of A. So 81 minus, if I subtract the 169 and if I subtract the 121, then I would have to divide by the negative 286. That would equal the cosine of A. Now I'm finding an angle, so I have to use an inverse. So the cosine of A equals 0.731, and here's where I use that inverse. A is going to equal the inverse cosine of 0.731, and that's going to equal 43.05 degrees. So there's two examples of using the cosine rule in each situation. One where I know two sides and the angle between them, and the other case where I know just the three sides and none of the angles. So if you have any questions, please let me know, and I will see you tomorrow.